What's up guys and welcome back to my channel. I haven't posted on this channel for a very long time and this video is going to be about my bike, and moving forward I'm going to be doing a lot more content about bikes. Hopefully after this winter I'm going to be doing more content about my cars again, but for now I'm going to be doing quite a lot of stuff related to cycling because I've just got into it. I've been doing a few bike builds and I've bought a few bikes, so I'm going to be doing some content about that. So this video is about my single speed, which I've built off of an old Raleigh. Now, I've had this bike for about 8 or 9 years, I think. I bought it off eBay a very long time ago when I was at uni. I always kind of wanted a single speed bike anyway, and yeah, 8 or 9 years later, or however long it's been, I've finally converted it to a single speed bike. So I'm going to go through the pros and the cons. I'm going to go through what I did to build this bike. It's not particularly complicated, apart from the rear hub. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a tour of it. So it's a Reynolds 501 frame, which is really nice. If you're looking for an old racer, try and get one with a Reynolds frame because they're well built and they're pretty lightweight as well. So for its age, this bike is actually quite a light frame. Now, geometry wise, I really do not like this bike. I think it looks weird. I don't know why. I'm not sure if you can tell from this video, but this is extremely tall, this bike, and I'm 6 foot and I struggle to get on this. It's got the old school top bar, which they used to do in parallel to the ground. And it's a nice aesthetic, but it's very hard to get your leg over. You'll notice if you look at newer bikes now, they kind of have like a tapered top bar, so it's easier to get on and off. So yeah, that's a bit of a pain for getting on and off this bike, and it's just very, very tall as well. It's a very big frame, so I really don't like that. And overall, geometry-wise, for converting this to a fixie or a single speed, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look like a fixie. You can see between the sort of post here and the rear tire there's quite a lot of space. So yeah, geometry wise it's not great, it's not ideal, but the main reason that I built this was because I wanted a bike for around town that's pretty fast and very, very low maintenance. So that's what I've gone for with this, and you'll see as I go around the bike you'll notice things that I've done which make it low maintenance, and I'll talk about them as well as I'm going around the bike. So I'm going to go from the front to the back and explain everything I've done. First step was to change out the bars. I've gone for these kind of old school track bars. So they've got a really nice gradient here, come round and down. And I've just recently gripped these and I did a really bad job, so don't judge me on that. I really need to redo these. But yeah, I like the aesthetic of only going to sort of halfway. And what I've actually found as well is I hardly hold these parts of the bars anyway. So having the grip tape there, that's pretty much the position I'm in most of the time, apart from when I'm braking. Works really well. And the good thing about this as well is I only used one of the 2 included pieces of grip, so I've got a spare essentially, which is really nice. Got rid of the old school brake levers that used to come off the front like that, and I've gone for just a standard old BMX lever, just about fitted on, and that's got the cable running back. And a nice feature of this frame is it has got the through the frame cabling, so you can see under here that the cable actually runs through the frame and comes out at the back, so nice and tidy, doesn't get in your way. And that's also really great for in town because I lift my bike a lot up stair sets and stuff, so you can just grab it underneath and there's nothing in the way. So I really, really like that. A lot of people run a front brake, so you just have a little piece of cable, but I've decided to go for a rear. I ran a front brake only for a long time and it's not nice. I just find this a lot safer and better, so yeah, that's why I've gone for that. So that's the front of the bike. Moving down to here, you can see this is where the old suicide gear levers used to be. So both of those have been removed, the pegs are still in. Maybe I could take those off. I need to work out that, but that will leave a hole in the frame, so I'm not sure what to do about those yet. I'm not going to be going about filling these holes in and things. I'm not going to go to that level of effort. So yeah, they're both removed. Moving down to the front sprocket. Now, sorry if I get some of the terms wrong about the bike. I'm pretty new to all this, so bear with me. I think this is the front sprocket. So this was a dual sprocket and I think it was a 12 speed. So there was 6 on the back on the cassette and 2 on the front. So that's why there's the 2 posts up there for the front and back. So I got rid of one of those and the derailleur and everything obviously, and cleaned up the frame a bit here where the derailleur was. The bolts that were on its stock do not work with a single cog. So you have to bear that in mind if you're going to do this conversion. You have to get smaller ones so that they only hold this sort of crank arm and one one sprocket, if that's the right word for it. So when you've got two, you need these to be deeper so they can hold two. But when you go down to a single one, it needs to be thinner. So I had to get these off eBay. And at the time I was trying to make my bike red. So that's why I got red ones, but I need to replace these now because I'm going for well, it's blue and green at the moment, but you'll see that it's going in a certain direction soon. So I might pick up another set of these. They're really cheap on eBay. I think these cost about £8. Somewhere in the region of £8 to £10. They weren't expensive at all. So yeah, if you need to get those, it's a really simple job to get those, and they're really cheap as well. Okay, so moving back, you can see here that's where the rear brake is. Again, this was an eBay job. Didn't cost much at all. I think that was about £10 to £15. So really cheap mod, and it fitted perfectly. Absolutely fine. Just I don't know the name of this brake. It's kind of like a side pull caliper. Is that correct? I think that's right. Yeah, it's a side pull brake. So pulls from the side. There's loads of options for adjusting it and stuff. I actually do need to adjust mine because it's become a little bit sloppy over the past couple of weeks. So moving to the back hub, you can see here this is a really weird hub that Shimano did, where the last gear is the locking nut for it. That's why the aesthetic at the back here is a bit clumsy. I haven't found something that can go on the back of there. If anyone has a recommendation of what I could use instead of that to clean it up, that would be really, really cool. Please leave it in the comments below. So yeah, I've got two gears on the back here essentially. So from behind, the aesthetic's not great, but if you look from the side, you can hardly tell that that's happening. So I'm not really too bothered about it. If there's an easy way I can replace this, great. If not, it doesn't bother me too much. And also, I'm not sure on the ratio. This could be the ratio here. It says 19 index, so that could be a 19 tooth. And at the front, it says Shimano BioPace 40, so that could be a 40 tooth one. I'm not going to sit and count those right now. And I'm not going to sit and count these ones, but that seems about right. What I will say about this gear is it's not perfect. I would actually prefer to have something a little bit stiffer, but for around town, this is great because you can get up to speed very, very quickly. It's kind of got a lot of acceleration, but it comes at the compromise of your top speed. Your top speed's not great on this this gearing. And I have already noticed, especially when going out for longer rides, that I will get to top speed and it will become pretty uncomfortable to ride because you're pedaling so fast and the pedals will actually slip. Not because of anything wrong mechanically, just because you're going too fast for the gear. So it's not the best combination, but it's okay. I think that's a fair assessment for it. Now, this had a massive piece of white tape here, and I was cleaning my bike the other day a little bit, took it off, and it's because there's a huge gouge out of the paint. So what I've done is just updated that and used some black electrical tape instead, just to tidy that up and to try and keep the corrosion off it as well. One thing that I had to do as well is shorten the chain. Now, get yourself a decent chain tool. I had a really cheap one and managed to bend the whole thing, so I had to end up borrowing one from a neighbour who luckily is a cycling enthusiast and he works at a bike shop. So he had a chain tool. It's actually really easy to take links out of a chain. I hadn't done it before this project, but obviously when you've got a rear derailleur and everything, the chain is way longer than this. So it's still the original chain, but I've just taken a lot of the links out of it and made it the right length. There is a little bit of slack in it, you can probably see. But to be honest, I think I am going to change this gear anyway, so I'll have to take more links out and I'll make sure it's correct when I do that. Originally, I had a smaller gear on this, and because the chain wasn't getting enough tension in it, it kept hopping off all the time. It was an absolute nightmare. So temporarily, instead of going back and waiting for my neighbour to get the chain tool or buying a chain tool, I just switched to a bigger gear, and what that did is it took out the slack. But like I said, it's not the ideal gear. So yeah, that's basically everything about that, I think. Had to get 2 chain whips to release this hub. It was a weird hub, so yeah, I had to get 2 chain whips to do that, and that made it pretty easy to do. There's a lot of tension in these because they tighten up as you're pedaling, apparently. So releasing it was really hard, but once you got that one crack, that was it then, it was all good. And I've just got some cheap metal pedals as well that look like they really could do with some greasing. Look at that. Yeah, so they need a bit of a tidy up. I might even replace those and get some slightly like bigger kind of BMX style ones, just so it's a bit more comfortable. These are actually pretty uncomfortable to ride, I would say. So yeah, that could be an upgrade, which is coming very soon as well. So as I mentioned about single speed, what are the pros and cons? The pros are that it's very little maintenance now, this bike. There's hardly anything to look after. Tyres, probably like a bit of grease here and there. On the chain, on the pedals, they need it. Keeping the tension in the rear brake, and that's pretty much it. And just replacing the grip whenever I need to, which it usually lasts quite a while. It depends how fussy you are about that kind of thing. If you don't like dirty grip, you'll be replacing it more often. If you don't mind it too much, you might only have to do it every couple of years. But yeah, I've got some brand new tyres coming for this soon. That's something that I probably should have mentioned, because the condition of these tyres, it's actually a little bit worrying how bad these have got. So these have been on it since I got the bike, and yeah, all in all, they're really not in good condition. So I've got some cheap Continental tyres on the way. That'll be the first replacement. And yeah, that's it. It's a great bike for around town. I've taken this out on sort of 20k, 25k rides, and it's not ideal, but can't have everything when you have a single speed bike. So that's how I built my single speed bike. I hope this video was useful. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask. I'll try my best to answer them. I'm not the most savvy guy when it comes to bike components and stuff, but I can obviously walk you through the process of what I did. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. So I hope you enjoy bike-related content, because that's what's going to be coming on this channel over the next couple of months. So yeah, hopefully see you all in the next video.